So it looks like it's that time. So if everyone, without objection, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 9:30. And I'd like to start by making some housekeeping remarks. Good morning. Thank you for participating in our remote meeting for the Riverside County Transportation Commission. We'll do our best to facilitate a smooth meeting with public participation. Before we begin, I want to review some guidelines and general instructions for the meeting. Please silence your other communication devices, such as your cell or desk phone. This will ensure that we're not hearing any feedback or causing interruption during the meeting. After each agenda item, the chair will announce public comment. For those on Zoom, if you'd like to make public comment on the Zoom screen, please click on the participants button on the bottom of your screen. A list of participants will appear on the right side of the screen. At the bottom of the list, please click on the gray raised hand button. This will signal to the host that you'd like to provide public comment, and you'll be added to the list. If you're using Zoom on your smartphone, just tap your screen. A new screen will pop up with the list of participants. Look for the raise hand button on the screen. And for those calling in using the phone line only, you can dial *9 on your keypad to signal that you would like to comment. So with that done, can we start with a roll call?
Thank you. District 2?
Here.
District 3?
Here.
Beaumont?
Here.
Calamasa?
Here.
Canyon Lake? Commissioner Bonner, have you muted? I see your hand raised. Cathedral City?
Here.
Coachella? Desert Hot Springs? Hemet?
Here.
Lake Elsinore?
Here.
Palm Springs?
Here.
Riverside?
Here.
Wildemar? We do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, backed by popular demand on Zoom meetings. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance today, and we'll start with a screen. And please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Item 4 is public comments. Do we have any public comments on the line or in email?
We do not.
Okay. And are there any additions or revisions to the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay. And next we'll move on to the consent calendar. Is there any commissioners who would like to speak to the consent calendar or ask for items to be removed? Oh, can I have a motion for the consent calendar?
Calamasa moves approval.
Cathedral City seconds.
Thank you. District 2?
Roll call?
Yes.
District 3? District 3?
Did you get that? Yes.
Thank you. Beaumont?
Yes.
Calamasa?
Yes.
Canyon Lake? Canyon Lake? Cathedral City?
Yes.
Desert Hot Springs?
Aye.
Hemet?
Yes.
Lake Elsinore?
Aye.
Palm Springs?
Yes.
Riverside?
Yes.
That item passes.
Thank you. On to item number 7, which is a quarterly public engagement metrics report. Before we get the staff report from Marla, I'd like to ask if there's anyone who wishes to speak on agenda item 7. Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and receive the report from Marla Dye, please.
Great, thank you. I do have a PowerPoint. Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, commissioners. I will be presenting to you this public engagement for the third quarter. The third quarter is July through September of 2020. Next slide. Thanks. Our quarter reports are a data-driven approach to monitor the Commission's progress towards engagement goals, to analyze the effectiveness of efforts, and to provide transparency on how the Commission uses resources to engage with the public. With COVID-19 and the presidential election, it has been an interesting quarter. Our engagement has been affected by these factors, and you'll see in this report. Today's presentation will be reviewing 4 sets of data, our overall public engagement activities, and 3 projects currently under construction: the 15 express lanes, the 60 truck lanes, and the 15 Railroad Canyon Interchange project. During the next quarter, we will provide matrix on 2 new projects that have broken ground: the 215 Placentia Avenue Interchange and the 91 Corridor Operations Project, known as the 91 COP. Next slide. Our overall engagement. The metrics for this quarter show
Hey, Mike, Randy, could you do me a favor and come over right away? Because I can't get the noise or the Zoom voices, okay? No.
The matrix this quarter shows small increases across all platforms with mixed sentiment. We've noticed that the combination of the COVID-19 and the 2020 election, the public's focus on issues other than transportation this quarter. However, the public engagement with our rail safety campaign and the work on the 91 Pachapa Underpass project in Riverside showed decent engagement. The Instagram post on the left is showing a beautiful picture of the Pachapa Underpass on the 91. And the trend continues with videos being doing dramatically well. We did boost the Rail Safety Month video shown on the right, but it is showing lower engagement than we had pre-COVID. Next slide. Our social media sentiment graph with spikes it stayed pretty steady, but we had a few spikes due to the construction on the 60 truck lanes and the Metrolinx app, new app with How Full My Train Is. The drop in sentiment in early September was due to the negative comments about highway construction. Next slide, excuse me. So this quarter, we saw a small increase on followers across all social media platforms. Next slide. Our website views increased from last quarter. The blog post about the award of the construction of the 91 COP did really well, was second to our homepage being #1 viewed. The desktop versus mobile battle continues and has stayed steady for this quarter from previous. Next slide. We had a slight decrease of the point subscribers, mainly due to cleanup of our subscriber list, but our open rate still stayed above average. Next slide. So now we're going to head into our projects. The 15 express lanes project continues. The toll testing of the lanes began, and the photo on the right shows crews pouring concrete into the new retaining wall along the 15 and Hidden Valley Parkway in Norco. Next slide. Increases across the board for this project. Social media platforms increased by 48 followers for all of them. And we had over 80,000 unique visitors visit the website seeking more information on this project, which is an increase of over 6,000 for this quarter. Next slide. The 60 truck lanes project is trucking along. The large animal crossings are about 2/3 complete. You can see here, excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice. You can see here in these crossings that the contrast of how large they are to the highway. And the photo on the right, you can see it from the animal's perspective. The openings are 20 feet by 20 feet, and that's so that the daylight can be seen shine all the way through. The animals will feel safe crossing. These are really great. They're just beautiful photos. I always get so excited when we see all the 60 stuff. Next slide, please. So the increases across the board for this project, social media followers increased by a total of 99 for all platforms, and we had over 15,000 views to the website, which is a 10% increase from last quarter. Next slide. And the 15 Railroad Canyon Interchange project in Lake Elsinore is making great progress. Next slide. Our social media platforms are steadily growing since we barely started the end of last quarter, but text messaging is new for this project, and it's showing higher than traditional signups for our weekly construction alerts. So right now we have text messaging at 350 over the traditional email at 234. So that's a fun new thing to track, and we'll probably be starting that consistently through our next projects. So next slide, please. That concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, are there any questions on this item? Seeing none, I will need a motion, but before you make your motion, please identify yourself if you're the motioner and the seconder. So can I have a motion?
It's a receive and file, isn't it?
Oh, I guess I don't need to ask for a motion. All right, we'll move on to item number 8, which is a state and federal legislative update. David Knutson.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Chair Whiting, committee members. I'm pleased to be here with you this morning. The Commission annually adopts a legislative program that serves as the framework for policy positions the Commission will take on various legislation, administrative policies, and regulations under consideration in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. The proposed 2021 state and federal legislative platform before you today builds on previously adopted Commission platforms, but with some revisions to acknowledge the policy changes in discussion at the state and federal level. In particular, this draft platform reaffirms local planning and project control, supports expansion of multimodal transportation, and ensures that rural, low-income, and disadvantaged communities in Riverside County benefit from planning and transportation planning and implementation policies. These adjustments and other proposed changes reinforce the Commission's position on the need for a regional variance to policy implementation, accommodation for regions with high population growth, and flexibility with funding and project delivery. One size does not fit all when it comes to transportation policy in Southern California. And it's important that our platform and our communications with our elected delegation communicates this. The platform points staff, commissioners, and commission lobbyists to communicate in a timely, effective manner with state and federal agencies as issues arise. This will be especially important as Congress prepares to reauthorize surface transportation programs in 2021. With party majority margins razor thin in both the House and the Senate, there may be an opportunity for bipartisan transportation legislation, and it will be necessary for RCTC to participate in the process. At the state level, the legislature will begin a new 2-year session with a budget deficit as one of the top priorities. In June, the budget deficit was projected to be $54.3 billion. The state's 2020-21 budget was passed and signed utilizing budget cuts, delayed and deferral loans, although transportation funding stayed mostly intact. The Newsom administration and the legislature had hoped that some cuts would be restored with funding assistance from Congress. By October 15, 2020, those federal funds and relief did not materialize. The legislature will have a clearer picture of the state's economy and the budget when the governor proposes and submits his budget proposal in January 2021. The reality is that the impact of COVID-19 will likely continue to impact the legislative discussion and procedures as we move into 2021. But staff is committed to participating in the policymaking process to deliver transportation projects in Riverside County. And finally, my last report to the Commission, I was encouraged to bring back some positive news. I am happy to announce today that RCTC's joint application with Caltrans for the RCTC 7191 Interchange Improvement Project was recommended for $58.1 million from the Trade Corridor Enhancement Program by the CTC staff. As you'll recall, RCTC applied to the Local Partnership Program, the Trade Corridor Enhancement Program, and the Solutions for Congested Corridors Program, the SB1 competitive grant funds, earlier this year. Having these funds recommended for award will ensure this project gets delivered. I want to acknowledge RCTC's planning and programming staff for submitting a competitive application for these funds. And I also want to thank our capital project staff for their support and input in the process. 2 additional projects in Riverside County were also recommended for grant awards, including the McKinley Avenue Railroad Street Grade Separation Project, sponsored by the City of Corona. They were recommended for $10.3 million from the TSEP program. The Limonite Avenue Gap Closure Project, sponsored by the City of Eastvale, was recommended for $9.4 million from the LPP program. The CTC will vote on the award recommendations totaling $77.8 million for Riverside County on December 2nd and 3rd. While the Commission will likely approve the overall staff recommendations, we will continue to advocate for our projects throughout the entire process. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, David. Is there anyone who wants to speak from the public on this item?
Not seeing any hands raised.
Okay, and how about commissioners? Any commissioners who'd like to speak? Please raise your hand. Again, seeing none, I do need a motion on this one. And again, identify yourself as the motioner or the seconder, please.
Their district moves to adopt proposal.
Calamasa second.
Thank you. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
Beaumont,
Yes.
Calamasa,
Yes. Sorry.
Canyon Lake, Cathedral City,
Yes.
Desert Hot Springs,
Aye.
Hemet,
Yes.
Lake Elsinore,
Aye.
Palm Springs,
Yes.
Riverside.
Yes.
That item passes.
You know what the problem is?
Okay, thank you. Item 9, there were no items pulled from the consent calendar, so we'll move on to commissioners and staff reports. Is there anyone who would like to make a report? Well, you guys are in a hurry to get out of here, I guess.
No, I will.
Okay.
Lloyd, Karen Spiegel.
All
I guess I
right.
could put my camera on for this.
Gotcha.
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and I know it's going to be much different this year. There are some guidelines in place through the state that the county is advocating to pass on. I know it's going to be challenging for those that are accustomed to large, huge family gatherings. My comments to you is you have to make a decision what's best for you and your family, understanding that we're certainly encouraging smaller, shorter, however you want to put it. The bottom line is it's getting worse with the virus. It is real. As everybody knows, I can attest I had the virus. So some of you who may feel that it's not real, it's overhyped, I have to be honest, I did too for the longest time. But these numbers in our hospital beds are now increasing, which is what was early on. If you remember back in the spring when this first hit, our biggest focus was making sure our hospital beds did not go beyond capacity, and that we had ventilators, and all the things that we were talking about back then have gone full circle. That's our focus again. The positivity rate, the number of cases has far exceeded where we thought we'd be now. It has really kicked in. And I'm just telling you, be careful, be safe. Please, if you follow the rules the best you can. And if you're choosing not to, just know that this is what's going to keep our businesses closed, our families in harm's way, whether you want to do it or not. Wear your mask to either protect the business, your family members, or to help get businesses back open. Because as you know, this now is going to be the nail in the coffin for many of our businesses and our communities. And we got to continue to strive to make things easier. And the final, again, be thankful for what we have. I know it's a rough time. It's unprecedented time. It's going to be different this year, but different isn't always bad. My immediate family, just my kids, and mine is 10. So we almost hit the maximum as it is. And that's 2 households. So it tells you is that some of us have more of a challenge to keep that number down. But anyway, have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Supervisor Spiegel. Ann, you wanted to say something?
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you, Supervisor Spiegel, for those words of advice for all of us. Commissioners, I just wanted to express the RCTC staff's appreciation for you. So Thanksgiving week is usually a good week to talk about gratitude. And I can assure you that we are all grateful to all of you for your leadership and your commitment to the public. And we are grateful to be RCTC staff doing some exciting and good things to serve the public. So thank you all very much for the opportunity to serve for you and for your constituents, and have a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Anybody else care to speak? All right. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 9:53. It looks like the next meeting is scheduled for December 28th at 9:30. And we'll see you all then, if not sooner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye. Thank you.